What is up, you guys? I am Tony Metro. Today, I'm going to be telling you who the 5 most overrated players are in Major League Baseball. Thanks to the digital age that we live in, everybody has a voice, and sometimes it leads to players being overhyped. So right now, I'm going to run through who I believe are the 5 most overrated players in Major League Baseball. My criteria for this evaluation includes the MLB.com yearly report that releases the top 100 players league-wide. So I'm going to reference that report prior to the 2019 season as well as the 2020 season. Kicking off the list at number 1 without a doubt is Yankees outfielder Giancarlo Stanton. Over his 10-year career, Giancarlo Stanton is a 4-time All-Star and 2-time Silver Slugger. In addition, Stanton was the 2017 National League MVP and finished second in MVP voting in 2014. In November of 2014, the Miami Marlins rewarded Stanton with a 13-year, $325 million contract. Now, I'm no mathematician, but that comes out to an average annual value of $25 million per year. In that 2017 MVP campaign, Stanton clubbed 59 home runs, drove in 132 RBIs, and had an OPS over 1,000. And after that season, the Miami Marlins traded Giancarlo Stanton to the New York Yankees. Heading into the 2019 season, Giancarlo Stanton was ranked by MLB.com as baseball's 19th best player. After missing all but just 18 games in the 2019 season, Stanton entered 2020 ranked as the 63rd best player in baseball. Stanton's issue is not his talent, but rather his ability to stay healthy. In Stanton's first 2 years with the Yankees from 2018 to 2019, he combined to play in just 176 games. In 2019, Stanton had a bicep injury that put him on the injured list for 79 days. Then, later in the year, he had a knee injury that put him on the injured list for an additional 85 days. And in 2020, it was Stanton's hamstring that put him on the injured list for 38 days. And despite his strong playoff performance this year, Stanton played in just 23 games for the Yankees and hit 4 home runs and 11 RBIs in the regular season. Stanton does walk at an 11.7% rate, which is above league average. However, what Stanton doesn't do well is lay off of pitches out of the zone. Stanton strikes out at a 28% rate for his career, which, according to this, is awful. And in an effort to keep him healthy, the Yankees have essentially relegated Stanton to a DH only. Overall, the Yankees have an oft-injured DH only who they have to pay upwards of $25 million per year through age 38. Number 2 on my list is the Texas Rangers outfielder Joey Gallo. Drafted in the first round out of Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas, Nevada, Gallo had scouts overwhelmed by his power. Joey Gallo debuted in 2015 and has a career slash line of a .207 average, a .327 on base percentage, and a .499 slugging percentage. Combining his elite power with his 14% walk rate has actually resulted in some really impressive OPS numbers for Joey Gallo. Where Joey Gallo struggles, however, is his strikeouts. If you thought Giancarlo Stanton had a high strikeout rate at 28%, Joey Gallo's is 38%, aka 13% above league average. If you take away Gallo's best and worst single season on base percentage, his career OBP is just .312. And like I said earlier, Gallo has a career batting average of .208. His single season high was .253, but the next highest after that is .209. I'm not taking away from the fact that Joey Gallo is a good player, because he is. The new age of statistics would tell you that Joey Gallo is an incredible player. He hits a lot of home runs and he walks at a high rate. But he also strikes out at a ridiculous clip and has an OPS that has yo-yoed throughout his entire career. From 2018 to 2019, Joey Gallo had a .203 average, a .317 on base percentage, and a .498 slugging percentage. And during that time, his OPS plus was just 109, or in other words, just 9% above league average. Compare that to a player like George Springer, who's not only a better defender, but had a 128 OPS plus during that same time. Overall, Gallo's a slugger. He could play some decent defense, but he's going to strike out close to 200 times per year, and if he doesn't hit a home run, he may not be producing for you in any other way. Number 3 on my list of the most overrated players in baseball is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Entering the 2020 season, Guerrero just barely made the list at number 100. Guerrero finished 6th in the Rookie of the Year voting in 2019. In that season, Guerrero played in 123 games, hitting 15 home runs and driving in 69 RBIs. In the 2020 shortened season, Guerrero played in all 60 games, hitting 9 home runs, driving in 33 RBIs, and was good for a 115 OPS plus. However, Guerrero's career slugging percentage is just .442, whereas league average is .436. Through the first 2 seasons of his career, Guerrero has a .269 batting average, a .336 on base percentage, and a .442 slugging percentage. Overall, that comes out to a .778 OPS, which is not exactly what people had in mind when Guerrero debuted. This all goes without talking about Guerrero's defense. In his rookie season, Guerrero played 96 games at third base and was worth -13 defensive runs saved. Vlad Jr. ranked dead last among all 217 infielders in outs above average at -16. To give you some perspective, in that same season, Nola ranked at +17 outs above average. Now, Guerrero has a cannon for an arm, but unfortunately, of his 17 errors in 2019, 13 of them were fielding. This chart right here will show you that some of them came at the shortstop hole, but nonetheless, this is an alarming trend for Vladdy Jr. And even before Guerrero debuted, many speculated because of his stature that there was a good chance he would move across the diamond over to first base. And that happened in 2020. Guerrero played 34 games at first base this year, but again, was worth -16 defensive runs saved there. I understand Vlad Jr. debuted at the age of 20 and is still just 21 years old. But you look around at other guys like Juan Soto and Ronald Acuna and how they burst onto the scene and were immediate impacts for their teams. Overall, at this point in his career, Vlad Jr. is a defensive liability with a 106 OPS plus. Fair or not, Vladdy Jr. has high expectations as 2019's unanimous top prospect that he simply has not lived up to. Number 4 on my list of the most overrated players in baseball is Cincinnati Reds starting pitcher Luis Castillo. Entering the 2019 season, Luis Castillo was not among the top 100 players in baseball, according to MLB.com. But Castillo cracked the list in 2020, ranking as the 91st best player. And in August, an MLB.com article ranked Castillo as the 9th best starting pitcher in the league. The best way I can prove this point is to simply compare Castillo to another starting pitcher in Marcus Stroman. From 2017 to 2019, Luis Castillo carries a 3.68 ERA and a 1.22 ERA plus. Similar to OPS plus, ERA plus is going to give us a percentage of how much better a player is than league average. During that same time, Marcus Stroman had a 3.65 ERA and a 1.20 ERA plus. This to say that Luis Castillo was 22% better than league average and Marcus Stroman was 20% better. Going back to that list of the top starting pitchers entering 2020, Gerrit Cole was ranked just 5 spots ahead of Castillo at number 3. From 2017 to 2019, Gerrit Cole has a 3.20 ERA, which is a half run better than Castillo's. Cole also has an ERA plus of 136, which is 14% better than Castillo during that time. In 78 starts between 2017 and 2019, Castillo accumulated an 8.6 WAR. That comes out to an average WAR of 2.9 per season. Meanwhile, during that same time frame, Gerrit Cole accumulated a 14.9 WAR, which averages out to about 5 wins above replacement per season. Luis Castillo is a great starting pitcher, but to me, it's clear. He's closer to a number 2 or number 3 like Marcus Stroman than he is to an ace like Gerrit Cole. And the last player on my list of the top 5 most overrated players in baseball, Philadelphia Phillies pitcher Aaron Nola. Coming off his 2018 season where he finished 3rd in NL Cy Young voting, Nola was ranked as the 24th best player in baseball entering 2019. As I mentioned, Nola came in 3rd in NL Cy Young voting in 2018 when he had a 2.37 ERA, a whip below 1, and a 173 ERA plus. But I'm not alone in thinking that 2018 may have been an outlier in Nola's career. Entering the 2020 season, Nola was again ranked in the top 100 players. However, this time he dropped from 24th all the way down to 81. From 2019 to 2020, Aaron Nola has a 3.72 ERA, a 3.81 FIP, and a 120 ERA plus. And not including his 2018 season, those numbers are much closer to his career norms. From 2015 to 2017, Nola had a 3.94 ERA, a 3.36 FIP, and a 106 ERA plus. And even though Nola had a 10.2 WAR in his 2018 season, he followed it up in 2019 with just 3.9 wins above replacement. This suggests to me that 2018 truly was a blip on the radar for Aaron Nola. I'm not trying to say that Aaron Nola is a bad starting pitcher by any means, but he is assuredly not an ace. His numbers have regressed to the norm, and he's clearly a number 2 or a number 3 in a rotation. So there you guys have it. Those are my top 5 most overrated players in Major League Baseball. What do you guys think? Who am I right about and who am I wrong about? And who else do you think should be on this list? Thank you guys for watching. I've been your host, Tony Metro.